The mid-year budget released in the House of Assembly, how it will affect you.
Also ahead, a big win for a trade union. Find out which workers got the good news.
And the showdown is set. 8 Mile Rock takes on CC Sweeting for the Hugh Campbell crown. The Bahamas Tonight starts now.
Now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This segment of the news is brought to you by BTC, powered by Lime.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Keishla Adderley.
And I'm Kindino Knowles. It's good to have you with us. Well, the government has described its mid-year budget as an exercise in prudent stewardship and one that consumers are being assured that no new taxes will be imposed.
But come next year, the government says expect long-anticipated tax structure changes to come into effect and new measures to ensure that government revenue is boosted and protected. Here's Carla Palmer.
There will be no increase in taxes. This according to Prime Minister the Right Honourable Perry Christie as he presented the government's mid-year budget statement. However, he says the government in the near future will be seeking approval to borrow an additional $100 million to retire some of the bills left over from the 2011-2012 fiscal year.
Nevertheless, these bills must be paid.
Since assuming office on May 7, 2012, the government has already implemented its first course of action aimed at growing the economy by reducing its level of short-term bank financing. On Monday, Mr. Christie unveiled his overall fiscal plan of action, some parts of which are already in effect. It begins with making internal adjustments in the public sector. That will involve some reprioritization of capital expenditures, measures to enhance the Customs Department and improve revenue collection, initiatives to strengthen real property tax administration, whereby incentives and waivers are provided through an amnesty program effective March 1st this year, and the rate of excise tax on trucks less than 20 tons is being reduced from 85% to 65%.
That is also expected to generate increased revenue for government through increased purchases of trucks.
In addition to public sector pension reform to be addressed, the government plans to introduce a central revenue agency, implement a broad tax reform package introducing the value-added tax by July 2014, as well as enforce expenditure discipline and accountability across all government ministries, departments and public corporations, addressing urgently, Prime Minister Christie says, electricity consumption, communication costs, and the management of government assets like motor vehicles. The Prime Minister is optimistic that through this medium-term fiscal consolidation plan, the government will arrest the rise in the government's debt-to-GDP ratio and put it on a steady downward path. I'm Carla Palmer for ZNS Network News.
Now, the House of Assembly has adjourned to March 4th at 10 a.m., at which time debate on the mid-year budget is expected to begin. Still on House News, the Prime Minister made a huge announcement for Grand Bahama today, which will provide some 1,000 jobs on the island. And
Cyan Thompson tells us that the announcement was the redevelopment of the Reef Hotel by Hutchinson Whampoa and the Sunwing Company, set to begin in the next few weeks.
Good news for Grand Bahama as the Prime Minister revealed that the Reef Hotel will receive a complete overhaul, resulting in much-needed relief for that island's economy.
The Office of the Prime Minister has received confirmation that Hutchison Whampoa and Sunwing, a Canadian corporation, have agreed the terms of the lease, the scope of work, and the renovation cost to convert the 400-room Reef Village into a modern, all-inclusive facility to be operated as a 5-star Blue Diamond resort in Freeport.
International partners involved are operating flights to Freeport to enhance the all-inclusive hotel.
As a part of this major initiative, Sunwing, when the new resort opens, will operate several flights per week from Canada to Freeport and support airlift programs from the United States to Freeport. These added flights and Sunwing tour packages will be beneficial to all participating Grand Bahama hotels, and not only Sunwing's Blue Diamond Reef Resort. The combined hotel airlift and tour operations of Sunwing and its affiliate Blue Diamond Resorts will create over 1,000 new jobs in Grand Bahama.
The Blue Diamond Resorts brand have been successful in other countries like Mexico, Cuba, Dominican Republic, and Jamaica.
This particular company carries over 300,000 tourists a year to Cuba, over 100,000 to Jamaica, and many, many, many more to Cancun, Mexico. And they fly their own aircraft. In the coming weeks, Mr. Speaker, construction will get underway, providing several hundred much-needed jobs for contractors and construction workers. It is anticipated that the construction and refurbishment will be completed for the opening of the Blue Diamond Resort later this year.
Prime Minister Christie told the House that this major initiative is a part of the government's commitment to revive Grand Bahama's economy. For the ZNS Network News, I'm Cyan Thompson.
In our first look at weather, summer-like temperatures will continue into Wednesday, followed by cooler and wetter conditions, which will lead into the weekend. But outside of our studios just now, we have a few clouds, temperatures 77 degrees, relative humidity 74%, winds out of the south-southeast at 6 knots, your barometric pressure 1,012.3 millibars, that's 29.89 inches, and it is steady. But stay tuned, temperatures around the Falmouth Islands, boating and travel forecast is still to come.
All right, thanks, Basil. Well, a man and woman were shot overnight, but only one of them survived the attack. Police say it was around 4 o'clock this morning that the 19-year-old man was shot in the parking lot of a business establishment on Wolf Road when a gunman shot both of them. The man was shot several times. He later died. The woman, a Bacardi Road resident, was shot in the thigh. Now, police are still looking for their attacker.
The Lyndon Pinling International Airport has received an award in marketing for the best airport with under 4 million passengers annually. It was during the Roots America Air Service Development Forum in Cartagena, Colombia this month that the honor was given. Vernice Joaquin, Vice President of Marketing and Commercial Development at the Nassau Airport Development Company, attended the forum and accepted the award on the company's behalf. The overall winner in the category was Queen Beatrix International Airport in Aruba. Every year, more than 400 airline and airport partners participate in the event and discuss opportunities for route development. NAD hosted Roots America 2012 on Paradise Island. Well, it's considered a major win for the Bahamas Hotel and Maintenance Union, the bargaining agents for the 500 employees of the Sandals Resort.
Last week, an application filed by Sandals officials to cancel the Maintenance Union registration was rejected by Chief Justice Sir Michael Barnett. Officials from the Trade Union Congress, the umbrella union for the BHMU, made the announcement earlier today.
It took 6 years, a trip to the Privy Council, and a return to the Supreme Court before it was finally concluded. But now the Bahamas Hotel and Maintenance Workers Union, which represents Sandals workers, has representation. Last May, Sandals management asked the court to cancel the union's registration. But Chief Justice Sir Michael Barnett dismissed the application by Sandals management, ruling last Friday that the union's registration is a matter for the registrar. Now, Trade Union Congress President O.B. Ferguson wants the union to have access to its members.
And I will be very shortly sending a letter to the manager establishing a time and a date where these officers can be properly introduced to the 500 workers who are paying dues through the hotel on a weekly basis.
Ferguson says management at Sandals has already agreed to return to the bargaining table on April 4th, and he says despite what he feels has been resistance from Sandals, the court's decision makes it clear that the union is legally grounded and will be around for a long time.
This is very significant, not only for Sandals, but for the labor movement. And it shows that the law still is in place for those who have been taken advantage of. So today, we say the legal system is very much alive in the Bahamas, and we want workers to know they have rights.
Maintenance Union President Lyndon Taylor says in addition to addressing matters relative to persons who lost their jobs at Sandals in 2008 and 2009, he wants to see employees properly paid.
But one of the main issues is that the gratuity. And mainly, that's one of the main things is the gratuity. And you have the job description whereby you have one employee run around and doing a job for like 4 or 5 other persons.
Officials from the Bahamas Hotel and Maintenance Union say now that their legal battles are behind them, they're prepared to negotiate a good industrial agreement for Sandals employees. Chiminita Swain, ZNS Network News.
Still ahead in the Bahamas tonight, the life or death question before the Constitutional Commission.
And we're just hours away from a Hugh Campbell champion. Highlights of the Final Four coming up. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight in HD. This portion of the news is brought to you by Lux Men's Warehouse.